Hey, what's up, y'all? And of course, welcome to another Alternative Factuals video. So happy Black History Month. I told you every video I'm going to do this, so always expect that. But today's video is not going to be at least a regular length. At least I'm not planning on it at the beginning of this video. So if it ends up being 10 minutes long, just know that wasn't my intention. But I want to do something or talk about something that's really cool. During this whole King in Black event, we know that Marvel has intentionally taken characters off the board, such as Franklin Richards, such as Blue Marvel, and believe it or not, he made a point to include characters like the Sentry specifically, who some people, I'm pretty sure, would have mentioned him later on if they had not mentioned him or used him in the story. And they made it very clear that the Sentry stood no chance against Knull, and neither did the Void, because the Void apparently bows down to him. But whatever. What I want to talk about is one of the characters who currently right now is not, I wouldn't say in Marvel Comics, but isn't being used by Marvel Comics, because him, as well as Sync, as well as Laura Kinney, is in the vault of the Children of the Vault, which is in the Master Mold, which I believe was in Dawn of X. So currently, two of the most powerful characters that we know who actually would stand a chance, I mean, not even like fictionally, I mean legitimately, they would stand a chance against Knull, are currently technically in like this time anomaly bubble, and we have no idea when they're going to come out, if at all. But before I dive into any of that, please be sure to like, share, and of course subscribe. Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you're thinking, let me know what you're feeling. And without further possible ado, let's kind of just dive into today's video. So it's very interesting to think that Darwin, he actually would be immune to the control of Knull and the symbiotes. And like I said, many of you are going to be like, oh no, he wouldn't stand a chance, his abilities are passive. That's true, his abilities are passive. But think about what's happened so far in the King in Black event. Knull has literally came to Earth with Celestials. Knull has literally surrounded the Earth in like this living abyss, this symbiote Earth. The Earth is being constantly under siege by symbiotes, dragon symbiotes, just various forms of Knull's creation. He is constantly, the Earth is being constantly, attacked. So a part of Darwin's ability, which is evolving, evolutionary ability, where he can adaptively evolve to any scenario on the fly in real time, but he doesn't have control over how his body chooses to evolve. It depends on whatever it takes for him to survive. But even though we already know it depends on the story, and I'm pretty sure if they included him in the story and they didn't want it to end very soon, they probably just would have made it seem like he can't adapt to this, or I'm not getting into that. In terms of the actual abilities he has on paper, he can actually develop an immunity to symbiotes, because the goal of his body, his passive ability, is to survive beyond anything else. Thus his name Darwinism. So what would these powers look like if he evolved to become immune to symbiotes and evolved to become immune to Knull's control? Well, to be honest, it's hard to predict. I'm not going to pretend, but this is just my opinion on how I think those powers would kind of manifest and how it would look like. For example, Darwin's abilities probably would appear kind of sort of in the realm of what Dylan's powers would be like, where one, he would be a little bit immune to symbiotes able to penetrate or kind of, consume him, because a part of the abilities of the symbiotes being able to consume you is the fact that they need to be able to get access to not only the internals in your body, which we've seen in Venom, where in order for him to heal Eddie Brock, he had to actually kind of go into his wounds and on a cellular level and, enhance his healing, pump his heart. Like, he can do that. There's multiple times that Eddie Brock should have been dead, but the Venom symbiote actually took the time to heal him, correct his healing, and make sure it was sped up. That's one of the features of any symbiote. They can penetrate you on a cellular level, but your body has to be able to allow them to do so. And Darwin's body would actually realize, like, okay, symbiotes are able to do this, so how about we make it so that way no external factors can interfere with us on a cellular level. Meaning he would develop this sort of, I wouldn't say rock hard skin, but somehow his body would be able to reject anything external that would interfere with his genetic makeup, thus making him immune. All right, cool. That's one ability. Now, depending on the totality and how bad, on top of that power, because we do know Darwin is able to ascend to ridiculous levels of power passively. He's able to turn his body into energy. He became, Hela, the goddess of death. He had a death touch. His body does not have limits in which he can evolve. It's whatever his body deems fit for him to evolve into. So let's say we already got past that. We already know that the situation is bad. So that alone is not going to ensure his survival. So his body is going to throw in some more abilities where he's going to be able to probably expel symbiotes off of people because it requires that in order for him to survive. Because one, the earth is going to be consumed with people who have symbiotes on their bodies who consume them. So that means he's always going to be in a constant threat, meaning he's going to be able to, I guess, help restore some people and make them immune to it to ensure his survival, or his body could just simply turn him into energy, which can be another thing. But I'm just saying, for the sake of the video, it's entirely possible his body can give him the ability to expel symbiotes. But also, if he ever came face to face with Knull, who has control over Celestials, he probably would be able to expel the symbiotes from the Celestials, or he would be able to match Knull's power if his back was against the wall, which is what the case was when it came to Hela and becoming the goddess of death, or the god of death in Darwin's case. He had to match her powers in order to survive her death touch. So the same thing would apply to Knull, where being face to face with Knull, his body would realize like there's nowhere in the universe we can hide from him. Knull is a universal threat. He has the Celestials on his side, which by themselves they can destroy the universe and recreate it as individuals. So let alone him controlling pretty much all of them. Knull himself is able to kill symbiotes, so he's definitely comparable to Celestials. He killed one of them in the beginning of time before this universe was even created. So Knull is powerful, and in order to beat him, in order to run from him, he would have to basically become him. In order to be able to survive him, you would have to be able to do what Knull is able to do, which is a part of the reason why Dylan has been such a big part of this whole King in Black and symbiote story, because it's just emphasizing how powerful Dylan truly could be if he mastered his ability. Not only would he be able to control symbiotes, but it is suspected too that he might be able to kind of do something similar where he might be able to create it. It's not like heavily hinted at, but there is some implication that it's a possibility he can be another version of Knull. He was born of a symbiote. The symbiotes altered his DNA and allowed him to be this kind of offspring of Knull indirectly. So it's really dope to see something like that in a character. Now, who's to say Darwin couldn't do that if his body deemed it fit? And it's entirely possible. It's within the realm of possibility. There's nothing to indicate that if Darwin were to encounter Knull, that could not be the case. But y'all let me know in the comments down below. Do you think it's entirely possible that Darwin, the Darwinist mutant, the person who's able to evolve on the fly to survive, would be able to not only survive Knull, but in the right circumstances be able to go toe to toe with him? Let me know what you think about that, and let me know if you want to actually see a video if I think Sync could go toe to toe with Knull, because I do think it's entirely possible as well, due to the nature of the fact that he's able to duplicate powers and abilities. Let me know in the comments, and if you're new to the channel, please be sure to like, share, and of course subscribe. Leave your comments down below, and I hope to see you later on. Peace out.